would have looked like. That would mean Team Amazon, unfortunately, would have been the smaller team because Duncan, Gwen, and Courtney went down the pyramid last, and Izzy and Ezekiel were together when they left the pyramid. Now, since Team Amazon is last place, I believe they got a camel. Team Chris still got to go, and Team Victory still got the stick. Alright, so this is how it would go. The crocodiles and all that crap happen, and DJ's getting scared by the crocodile snapping. So Harold tells DJ, oh, bop him on the nose, and DJ hits the alligator with the stick. The alligator bites down the stick but gets hurt. DJ gets upset because the alligator got injured by choking on a stick and getting hurt. Team Victory lost because they lost their stick. Chris says, well, if Team Victory doesn't have their stick, they go to elimination. Lashana and Lindsay and Bridget are visibly upset at DJ. Alejandro tells DJ what really happened. DJ said Carol told him to hit the alligators with the stick. And Alejandro told DJ, I can help you get rid of Harold for suggesting that foolish mess. So DJ agrees. Alejandro manipulates all the women. DJ's actually that goes home. DJ. Wow, I'm stupid. Harold actually goes home first because he's the one who foolishly led their team to disaster. Next is Super Happy Fun Time Japan. Now, honestly, this would be a harder one because I didn't really plan this one through. But I know it's all based on commercials. So let's look at the teams. Alejandro would help his team get first place. So Team Victory actually got their first team win now, away from elimination. Now it's down to Team Chris, Team Amazon. Sierra and Cody and Heather would have a clearer time getting commercial done. However, Team Amazon, I can see, ends up figuring out a badass commercial because we have Duncan and Gwen. And of course, Izzy's there to bring some pizzazz. Chef would actually indeed like Team Amazon's commercial a little more than Team Chris's by a long shot. Now, because of that, this will be a very depressing elimination. Since Sierra and Cody were the ones responsible for the commercial, and Heather, Tyler, Noah, and Owen will figure out who would be better off to keep in this game. Now, if I remember correctly from Total Drama Island reunion special, Tyler, Owen, and Cody worked well a lot, and Noah would do anything to be in the majority. Now it's between Sierra and Heather. Now, the problem with this is that as much as Heather had a big redemption story, the boys would feel like Heather is just not really contributing much versus Sierra, who came up with the commercial and more of the ideas. Now, would Cody want Sierra gone first versus Heather? Yeah, he would. However, Tyler and Noah and Owen would convince Cody that Heather was the main antagonist of season 1, and she wasn't really that nice in season 2 either. So, unfortunately, they would go more towards Heather versus Sierra, who's more nicer. So Heather does go there. That would make more sense this season if teams are more accurate this season. All right, teams are now even. Anything you can do. All right, so obviously Alejandro's not going to, manipulate Bridget to get stuck to a pole. That's not going to happen. But what he's going to do, he's going to get Izzy stuck to a freaking pole because he knows he wants to weaken Owen and Team Chris, and he knows Owen and Izzy are a thing. So Alejandro makes Izzy stuck to a pole. Team Amazon cannot get Izzy unstuck. They go to elimination. Unfortunately, Miss Izzy, you're a crazy one. You're one of my favorites in the Total Drama universe, but alas, honey, you must go because you got stuck to a pole. Now, it's Slap Slap Revolution. Each team has an extra member, and Team Amazon only has 4. Well, there's no Heather there for Lashana to snap. So how would this episode go? Well, also, before I go any further, I should mention the love triangle story will still happen indeed, but this time I'll make it work even more. Ezekiel is the one that catches Duncan and Gwen kissing behind Courtney's back every single episode. And Ezekiel tells Courtney, Courtney, let's have our differences fade away. We need to kind of form a friendship because I really don't have much friends, and I know it didn't work out season 1. So Courtney confides in Ezekiel and says, sure. So basically, Ezekiel's going to tell Courtney, but not just yet. He's going to finally think smart and say, you know what? I might have to use this love triangle to my advantage, but in a smart way. So yes, Duncan is being a dog this season, and he wants Courtney, but he also wants Gwen. He wants both. So basically, he wants a poly relationship, but Courtney doesn't really know about it. Neither does Gwen. Well, Gwen kind of knows about it, but she's trying not to be the villain, but she's going to end up sadly getting the slightly secondary antagonist edit this season. I'm sorry, but it needs to happen because, my honest opinion, Gwen really did have feelings for Duncan in season 2 in action. It's not a mistake. That clip of Courtney and that clip of Gwen and Duncan almost kissing in season 2, I think Duncan and Gwen really wanted a relationship because she broke up with Trent. She was single. Duncan technically was semi-single. What I mean by that is him and Courtney were trying to rebuild their lovers back together, and it worked. So he's technically back with Courtney since season 2. However, he kind of wanted Gwen a little more. So we're going to make it so that it's, basically I'm going to fix it towards like a throuple situation later on down the line. But Ezekiel definitely gets improved this season 2. Anyways, as I was saying, Slap Slap Evolution. So, just going to put it out there right now, because people are going to assume I'm going to make Team Amazon go to tribal or elimination. No. Team Amazon, Gwen, Duncan, and Courtney literally sweep the freaking floor with Tyler, Noah, and Owen. Ezekiel slaps Cody, and Cody's out. Then Sierra has to go after Ezekiel again, because Ezekiel has to go twice and go after Sierra. It doesn't matter. Sierra still slaps Ezekiel off because he's weaker even than Cody. But it doesn't matter. Gwen, Duncan, and Courtney are still in this. And now Sierra has to go after people from Team Victory. Sierra has to go up against Lashana. And Lashana beats Sierra. Sierra's out. Team Chris is going to elimination now because Lashana slapped Sierra. So, who from Team Chris is going? Well, the problem with this episode now is that Sierra is their strongest girl on their team. Tyler, Noah, Owen, Cody feel like that's threatening. They want Sierra out. However, Sierra goes to Owen and pleads with him, please don't get rid of me. I'm the only girl on the team. I know that's threatening you guys, but I'm strong. I can help you guys. I promise. Please keep me in for another day, just another day. So Owen's like, fine. If you vote with me, Cody, and Noah, we'll get rid of Tyler. Because Tyler kept focusing on Lindsay trying to remember his name, and that's going to hurt our team if he keeps screwing up with the team. So vote Tyler. So they all vote Tyler. Tyler gets voted off in Slaps of Illusionist. The day Lindsay finally remembers him. But it doesn't matter. He has to go because he's been nothing but trouble this whole episode trying to get Lindsay to remember. Remember, like, Tyler. We love that she finally did in the canon, but you could have costed your team the challenge originally if Lashana, if Heather wasn't there and stuff like that. But she was, therefore you survived. Alright. Can't help falling in Louvre. This is Paris. And yes, we still get the Paris in Springtime song with Sierra and Cody. However, as they're building their statue, this is the time when Team Victory goes back to going to elimination, because DJ keeps thinking there is an animal curse, and he distracted his team by going off in a different direction than his whole team did. DJ tries to look for the animal piece. He grabs it. But by the time he grabs the animal piece, he puts it in the statue thinking it belongs. He's like, yeah, this will save my animal curse. Chris goes up. He's like, that piece doesn't go there. Sorry, Team Victory. You guys are going to vote someone else because of DJ. So the Team Chris, Team Amazon is safe. DJ is voted out, obviously, because he still thought he had an animal curse. Alright. We have this episode with the plane going to Jamaica. And in a shocking turn of events, Owen fell out the plane with Gwen. They both get injured. However, Alejandro wanted to rig Team Chris's thing anyways with Noah, Cody, and Sierra. And he does rig it, and Team Chris does lose. However, since Gwen and Owen were in the infirmary, Chris says Owen is way too injured, way worse than Gwen is, way too injured to compete again. So Owen is actually out due to injury. Now, here comes the fun part. I see London. Since Duncan and Ezekiel are in this episode and they're on Team Amazon, there's nothing that changes. I mean, yeah, there's gonna be a difference. So Jack the Ripper is actually a someone who is an intern, so it won't count as a rejoin since no one is eligible to rejoin. I'm not doing that. It's stupid to make anyone rejoin. So with this episode case being, the only team I can clearly see that goes to elimination, if it's not Team Victory, it would be Team Amazon. Team Chris would actually do a good job with finding Jack the Ripper this episode. Because Sierra would do Kung Fu like she usually does when because Cody and Noah end up going missing. Sierra's pissed that Cody's gone. She knows Jack the Ripper has something to do with it. She meets Jack the Ripper, she beats him up, and she captures him. Team Chris is safe. Now, I better move everyone up. Because that would be annoying. 1 minute. So Team Chris is safe from IC London. Now, who would I think would lose? Honestly, it would be Team Victory because Lindsay literally didn't understand the assignment this episode. Lashana, Bridget, and Alejandro would obviously vote off Lindsay. Not only that, but she's been distracted lately since Tyler's been gone, and she's been depressed, so they would just vote Lindsay off in IC London. Much as I love Lindsay and she's a queen icon, it would just happen that way. Alright, the X-Files. This is the important episode. This is the episode where Ezekiel tells Courtney, and they've been best friends now. They were building up friendship since Super Happy Fun Time Japan. And on IC London is when Courtney finally respects Ezekiel and says, you know what, Ezekiel? Thank you for helping us with the challenge. We would have been goners. And so Ezekiel told Courtney the truth. He says Courtney now is like, Courtney, Duncan and Gwen have been kissing behind your back this whole time. And I don't agree with it. And I think it's wrong. So what happens? Courtney, because I'm going to make her like more of her season 1 counterpart. She says, oh, really? Okay. Duncan, do you have anything to say to me? Anything at all? Duncan's like, sorry, sweetheart, don't know what you're talking about. It's like, oh, really? So, hello, Gwen. I heard you've been kissing Duncan. Gwen's like, what? That's ridiculous. Who told you that? Courtney's like, a little birdie told me. I don't reveal my sources. Sorry. Lawyer laws. Gwen gets so angry, she slaps Courtney so hard that Courtney starts crying. It's like, Gwen, I thought we would be friends. How dare you? Courtney and Ezekiel get mad at Gwen, and Duncan is now at a standpoint where it's like, do I have to choose Courtney or do I choose Gwen? Do I choose Courtney? Do I choose Gwen? Oh no. Oh no. The whole episode, they're all fighting. And basically, Team Amazon goes to elimination. Team Chris, Team Victory, swoop it out. So what happens this episode? So in this episode, since Ezekiel and Courtney became good friends, Courtney is not going to vote. Ezekiel's not going to vote Courtney. They want to vote Gwen out. Duncan. So as the votes are all on Gwen, and Gwen votes for Courtney, Duncan votes for Ezekiel, because he ends up finding out Ezekiel did it. Ultimately, Gwen's supposed to go. This time though, Gwen doesn't go. Duncan actually quits for Gwen this time, like he was gonna do in Total Drama Action when she originally got voted out. So Gwen is spared because Duncan jumps off the plane. That ends that love triangle storyline in X-Files. Thank you and good night. Now, this is what's gonna happen. It's the final 9, and each team only has 3 members left. Chris does a blowhorn and says, everyone, stop. We are going to be switching teams. He said because of the lousiness, Team Amazon will be no more, and it'll just be Team Chris versus Team Victory. He says the remaining guy left in team that was originally on Team Amazon now has to go on Team Chris. Gwen and Courtney now have to join Team Victory. Team Amazon is no more. So Picnic at Hanging Dork. Team Chris and Team Victory. This is the one where they have to shear the sheep. Now, Alejandro knows about the Gwen and Courtney BS. Bridge is trying to be a mediator in between this, like she was during Total Drama Island. And she was friends with Courtney and Gwen. Alejandro doesn't like this and feels like Bridget's going to ruin the whole plan. So Alejandro basically throws the challenge on purpose. Team Chris wins. However, since Courtney and Bridget and Gwen figured out Alejandro through the challenge, they tell Lashana that Alejandro threw the challenge because these three girls are smart. Because trust me, again, there's a better antagonist this season than Alejandro. I'm not really a big fan of him. Lashana's like, no way, no way, no way. The three of them were like, do we vote Alejandro because he's been ruining challenge, because he's trying to get us to fight? Or do we vote off Lashana because she's ignorant? Well, I'd say because of how things are going this round, the girls ultimately decided that Alejandro needs to really go, so he goes. Goodbye. Alright, so now we have Niagara Balls where there is no teams, so we gotta go and do that. And do merge. Yep, no more Team Victory, no more Team Chris. Now, there is a person who was supposed to re-enter because of the Aftermath show. That's Beth. Yep, Beth's gonna come back because no Blaney, because Bridget's still in. No need for Jeff to get mad. So, yeah. Alright, Niagara Balls. So this is how the pair-ups are gonna be. It's gonna be Noah and Beth, Sierra, Cody, Lashana, and Ezekiel, and Gwen, Bridget, and Courtney are gonna be a lesbian throuple for this episode. Not reality, just for the challenge. The winners would obviously be Sierra and Cody because they would get the question in the end, and Sierra would not get mad at anyone and fall off the thing. Sierra and Cody are immune. So who goes in this episode? Well, the person that would go in this episode would be, supposedly Courtney would want Gwen out, Gwen would want Courtney out. Courtney finds out through the grapevine that she's in danger, so she uses the scapegoat plan to get rid of Noah, and ultimately Noah does indeed go home because of that. Sorry, Noah fans, but it has to be done. Chinese fake out. No Duncan there and Gwen and Courtney's getting a little competitive, but she's actually paying attention this time, so she goes in the food eating challenge. Everyone excels in food eating challenge, blah, blah, blah. But Gwen, being villainous, cheats and gets all the good food. And so she ends up winning since there's no one to really catch her cheat. So what happens? Well, Lashana is on the chopping block because of how she was trying to go after Courtney and Ezekiel last round. Courtney and Ezekiel end up finding a way to get the votes on Lashana. Lashana, hearing about this, scrambles and just throws one vote on someone who isn't likable, and that's Beth. Chris announces that because of budget cuts, there will be a double, so Lashana and Beth go, because Beth's not really going to serve a purpose, and Lashana finished her purpose that episode. African Lying Safari, there was only 5 people in the episode, but there's 6, so guess what? Double elimination again, people. So, who's good at trank balls and stuff like that? Well, no Alejandro. Gwen's really going to try her best, but she fails. Sierra is gonna try again, but Courtney underhandedly pulls a quick, fast last-second win. So what happens here? Well, Gwen and Bridget and Courtney know that Cody has the Guys Alliance from Total Drama Island Special. They vote Cody. Well, Sierra was getting Cody's nerves, and Cody votes for Sierra. And Cody and Sierra go. It makes better sense they go in that episode. Drumheller. Okay, here we go. So I did mention about the fact that, no Alejandro, no Cody, no blow up a plane, blah, 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 blah. Well, how does that episode get dealt with then? Well, funny enough, the person who gets immunity this round, because I think they're that creative, is Ezekiel. So who goes this episode? Well, as soon as Ezekiel wins immunity, Courtney tries Courtney's still visibly upset at Gwen and wants her gone. Gwen scrambles and tries to figure out a way to make Courtney happy. Gwen goes into the plane and sees that there's a cake. And she says, I'm sorry, let's be friends again, Courtney, is what she writes in the cake. And she couldn't find candles, so she thought what were candles she puts in were dynamite. She goes out the plane with the cake, saying, Courtney, here's my peace offering, I'm so sorry. And as soon as she was about to say sorry, the sparkler flame hit the oil near the plane, and the plane explodes, leaving Gwen paralyzed and bald. And Chris gets mad and disqualifies Gwen, and Gwen's out, and she gets the main antagonist, Karma. She cannot walk anymore, and she is bald. Here we go, the final three. Ezekiel, Courtney, and Bridget. Well, their thing is, it's a race. Whoever makes the finish line ends up in the final two. Courtney and Bridget are obviously more athletic than poor Ezekiel, and Ezekiel gets the third place edit, and honestly, rightfully so. I think it's perfect for him, and especially with the final two being Courtney and Bridget. I had a feeling World Tour was originally aiming for Courtney and Bridget to be like a final two, or with Ezekiel being a final three with them. Well, here's the thing. So who gets the main winner, who gets the alternate winner? The main winner, obviously, throughout this whole season, if they wrote it properly, the main winner would have been Courtney. Bridget would have gotten second place or alt winner. Now, how they could have written this whole season to be phenomenally good is, from the start, Courtney did not want to make the same mistake she did in action. She actually has remorse towards the people she upset that season. Courtney decides that although $1 million is amazing, she feels like making friendships along the way would help her game a little more than just being cold-hearted and evil. Courtney goes the hero route this season, befriends Bridget. Well, her and Bridget recuperate as friends from season 1. She tries to be Gwen's friend, but Gwen stabbed her in the back so hard she lost interest. She ends up realizing she doesn't need Duncan to be a winner, and she becomes a little more independent, but still making friends along the way. She finally allows Ezekiel to talk, and she listens to him, and that helps her make a really good friend with Ezekiel. They become so close as friends. They were like brother and sister to each other this season, and it's just an amazing storyline that I think developed well. Again, with Bridget tries again to win for Jeff and her, and she comes close. And in the official ending, she just misses out because Courtney was a little bit stronger than her and threw the dummy into the volcano, and Bridget couldn't do it. But she's satisfied knowing that she almost won, and Bridget and Jeff have a adorable, cute hug and kiss moment. And Jeff says, even though she didn't win, he felt like that. He felt like that her making it to the end was a win enough, especially since they got to reunite. Sierra and Cody, they're good people, but they were just being manipulated by Gwen the whole season, and they were just being sheepy followers, and that wasn't a good look on them, but it was a better written on them than how it was with Sierra, because Sierra isn't as annoying this in my version versus the version they were going to. In the version I think they were trying to go with Sierra and Cody was that they were trying to develop like romantic feelings for the two of them for each other. However, I noticed that Sierra was starting to go less crazy and more like normal. I was noticing that since Broadway Baby, when Chris told Sierra to shut up, Sierra realized, hey, you know what? Being annoying is not going to get me anywhere. I'll just cool it and just hang out with Cody a lot. And that's basically what they did. Lashana does make it pretty far this time around. But she has to understand that her listening to Alejandro and Gwen was like the biggest mistake in her life. And I think after she gets voted off in Chinese Fake Out, she realizes that Gwen needs to get an attitude adjustment and needs to grow up. Beth wasn't meant to get any kind of development at all. She went far in action. They weren't going to let her go far again. She was there for moral support for Niagara Balls, for Noah, and Chinese Fake Out for Lashana. But it didn't work out. The friend she made with Noah and Lashana this time around wasn't good enough. Beth was always in the outs and was going to always be in the outs and leave. Alejandro, he's a decent central or no secondary villain, really. He was written fine, but he just wasn't a villain I wanted to go to far. And then yeah, because Alejandro is a secondary villain. A central villain, or like the third villain, really, like the one that's not as bad, would be Duncan. Duncan, if the way I wrote him this season was actually pretty favorable to everyone, and it makes a lot of sense on how he would. I mean, he took a leech shot for Gwen in All Stars, so if he would have done that, he would have quit for Gwen in X-Files. He really would have if Gwen was about to go home. I see London, Lindsay. Oh, sweetheart. Man, if I could. If I could, I would have written you to go further than even how World Tour even gave you the Can't Falling in Love With You just left like that. Like, no. That was stupid. I would have written you to have a little longer survival rate in World Tour. But for this season, for the way I knew what the writers were trying to go for, I know they were trying to have Courtney win. It would have required Lindsay to really go early. And unfortunately, it sucks to say, but if Lindsay does not go early, she would have won this time. I know Lindsay would have won the World Tour if she was given the chance to go far. Because there's no way. And DJ, I'm sorry, he went a little further than how he was supposed to go. His Animal Curse BS was so annoying, I couldn't stand it. Every single episode, I was just waiting for him to go home. Owen, him getting injured by the plane makes a lot of sense, and plus he's a winner. No one really wants a winner to win again. Slap Evolution Tyler, his was very depressing, but he was getting a little annoying even in the original World Tour, trying to get Lindsay, like, dude, calm it down, Tyler. I actually love Tyler. I think he's a great character, but World Tour, he was a little annoying. Anything you do with Izzy. Unfortunately, Izzy would be that dumb, stupid bitch, crazy bitch that would think Alejandro was telling the truth about licking a pole is good for you. Izzy said, oh, let me try. Ooh, let me try. And she licks the pole. She's like, oh no, I'm stuck. Get me out of the hole. But she's stuck. And she goes home. Super Happy Fun Time Japan. Heather's girl. We know we love ya. You're a queen. You'll always be the number one queen. Icon slay, honey. But World Tour, I don't think you should win. I think World Tour was a big mistake letting Heather win. And here's why. We need to let people who actually deserve to win. Heather really didn't earn her win in the original World Tour. Alejandro carried her, and that's the truth. And this time he wouldn't have been able to because he's not going to really focus on Heather this time around if the writers wrote the season a little better. And then honestly, for Harold, he caused that upon himself in Walk Like an Egyptian. He should have been the one voted off no matter what version of World Tour you see, because he's the one suggested the stick with the bopping in the nose. He should have been gone regardless, no matter what. There should have been no safe pass for him. Sorry. Even if Team Victory was built the way it was already built, I still say that Harold would have left, because DJ would have known that what Harold did was a stupid move. He was not going to save Harold. So DJ was going to help Ezekiel instead, because he knows Ezekiel didn't mean it. And Lindsay and Bridget would actually listen. And plus, they would look at LaShawn and Harold like a dangerous duo anyways. And they would just vote Harold off just so it could weaken LaShawn. So yeah, their writing skills was not the best for the World Tour we got. This is the World Tour we should have gotten. This is the order we should have gotten. This would have been more favorable, and it would have made tons more sense. I know having 2 double eliminations in a row is kind of cheap, but I would write it so that it fits and people would be satisfied with their journeys. So yeah, this is Total Drama World Tour if the teams were done the way they should have been. If Chris did not say, oh, Alejandro, go to mat number 2, and instead just let Alejandro be the final member of Team Victory. Yeah, and it would have been like that, and this is how it would look like if I helped write with them too. Let me know in the comments what you would feel making Gwen the biggest main antagonist of this whole season and Courtney the biggest hero redemption arc. I say I would have loved World Tour and given it a number 1 spot if it was written like this. Absolutely. Yeah. If you guys have any more what ifs, you can actually send them my way. I will be doing more what ifs. Just post in the comments what ifs you want to see, and I can do it, but I'll also make it make sense too, and give you guys reasons and make it written differently than how the original was written to make it make more sense anyways. Thank you.